Is it
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Good evening to one and all. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Okay. The basic idea of going for this methodologies to improve the existing AHU efficiency. Let us go in depth. Where all we are having the scope and what all the things that is possible at zero cost and low cost, and what is to be done to improve the overall total owning cost of the existing AHU in the air conditioning system. So a typical energy consideration in the air conditioning package, we are all aware, but just to list down the air-cooled screw chiller, the percentage savings will say where we are able to save more as such. On the screw chiller, again, it's a centrifugal type only, 10% only is possible. On the variable speed drives on the pumps and this one, primary and secondary, around 10% and 20% only. But on the variable speed drive for the air handling units, both on the pressure as well as on the main air handling units, around 30% scope is there. The 30% scope, it means the efficiency of generation is less. So the scope for implementing, increasing the energy efficiency is possible in the generation aspects. Let us go in depth in that. So to start with, let us take the air conditioning loop by loop total air conditioning system. It's like the Pareto principle, almost with where 20% of the power consumers of the air conditioning system, either the fans and pumps, they contribute or they decide the not contribution, they decide the 80% power consumption of the major AC air conditioning compressors. So the high and low um, factor of the AHUs that decides the AC compressors consumption. Say almost we can say around 50% on the auxiliary. This is the presentation of the auxiliary units, where almost 50% goes towards the supply and return and on the exhaust also. And all the other things, the fan circuit is or the air circuit is consuming more on the auxiliary circuits compared to the pump circuits. What can be done on this air circuit is typically all the air handling units, it is all centrifugal, backward curved, inclined, either aerofoil type or plug type or plenum type, whichever the fan that is used. We have seen at the present, we have done the energy audits in many of the green buildings as well. Here we found almost the existing air handling unit, the blower, for a given 100 units of input as the electrical power, 30% was available at the delivery of the AHU blower. That is the volume and the Pascal. Here, what can be done on the VSD side? It's all small drops making motion. What can be done on the VSD? What can be done on the motor? What can be done on the belt and pulley? What can be done on the impeller? And what can be done on the system installation and orientation? All these aspects play a big role towards the contributing the generation efficiency of the AHU and running efficiency of the AHU. So the purpose of main AHU in the air conditioning plant, the critical part of the air conditioning of the air washer unit is the final delivery of the air that is diffused through the supply diffusers in the AC premises. It should be in terms of right amount of air volume and temperature and static pressure. And this static pressure, if it is maintained correctly, the supply air is diffused correctly at the optimum velocity, then the return air will be definitely be smooth and healthy, and you will have a sustained health, that is the heat transfer and the comforts to the users in the premises in the for the long standing hours of AC workings. So in this aspect, basically on the final delivery, I am concentrating on the final delivery of the AHU to the air conditioning premises. So the air conditioning majors, air washer OEMs, the user industry can target this area. It's a sustainable optimized parameters that is required in the AHU systems that will deliver an appreciable savings in the AHU electricity consumption. Ultimately, we are not looking for a collective reduction of energy consumption in the air handling units. It is small drops make big ocean. What are all these savings possible? We are not saving, we are only conserving. We are trying to not trying to compromise the output. We are giving the output for which we can input how much it is possible to reduce. So I'm just taking a case study. It is the breakup of case study of a 10 HP centrifugal backward blower. It can be a AHU or it can be any system in the industry, utility in the industry. Let us say the first row and the second row. First row shows the old backward curve, what I have been using in the industry, and the second row shows the new backward impeller. The first AHU, the existing AHU was having a motor, standard motor, many times rewound, VFD, and the belts and pulleys worn out, and optimized pulley ratio is not there, and the VFD is also not there. In the second one, where we are able to change the impeller, we are able to change the impeller to a near to airfoil profile. Previous one was almost a flat profile. This one is changed to airfoil profile, and all efficient subsystems are improved. Going for IE3 motor, rock arc belts, maxed pulley and drive, and VFD. So the straight away we can see around 20% of savings. You can see on the VFD, we can see on the motor, we can see on the belt and pulley, fan efficiency and the system efficiency. The old fan efficiency is around 50 to 60%. The new one is around 70 plus 70 to 80. This is where we are concentrating. One is on the impeller side. The next one is on the what is given to the impeller, what is given to the fan impeller, or what is given to the fan shaft from the motor end, and how the system of efficiency overall it can be improved upon. If you see a typical 5 HP AHU motor, AHU blower, almost 60% motor input only is converted to the air power. That is 40% is exhausted as heat only. Say 3.73 kilowatt as the input, motor at efficiency of 90%, drives efficiency around 95%, fan efficiency around 70%, automatically delivers an output efficiency of only 60% as the air power. Let us concentrate in depth which are all the areas we can try to improve upon the efficiency at the generation side and on the distribution side. So the energy conservation measures, especially choosing the right sized fan or the impeller. Second one is reducing the system resistance. This is what all the air conditioning service providers have given an excellent system resistance, optimized and lowest system resistance possible. System resistance is nothing but the static pressure we are going to maintain in the delivery of the AHU systems up to the supply diffuser. And next is what is the fan going to operate in the best efficiency point, whether the system efficiency curve and the static pressure curve is matching at which point, that is going to be the best efficiency point at the given fan AHU, and are we close to the best efficiency point. If it is not there, this can be improvised by using the VFD, retrofitting the VFD, and the best to go to the to select the or facilitate the best possible curve possible. Maintaining the fans regularly and controlling the airflow efficiently instead of a damper going for a VFD. So, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, it gives a lot of inputs, especially on the fans and pumps, and especially on all the air conditioning circuits. We go in depth of the system, where what are the existing fans we are using in our system and what we are seeing as per the theory. Centrifugal fans means it can be forward or it can be backward, but most of the industries or most of the air conditioning plants have the backward only. And if it is curved or inclined, or it is modified radial, or it is radial, or it is a for pressure blower or a forward curve. So ultimately you can have an efficiency of almost 83% is possible, but our present running efficiency is around 60% only. This is where we want to pitch in, and what is possible in the existing AHU to be improved upon. Normally, any type of industry, including the air conditioning industry, all of us talk about the motor efficiency, we talk in terms of two decimals, 90.23 sir and 93.20 or something like that. But the blower efficiency, none of us talk, or none of us in the industry, the user industry, the OEMs. See, it is not a question of finding the fault or I am trying to address a gray area where the blower efficiency band is not addressed to by the user industry, by the service provider, and by the OEMs as well. So let us go in depth where the efficiency band can be predicted as per the fan performance curve and how much this can be achieved. Thanks to the there is EESL, BESL combination of this under the Power Ministry, they have started replacing the LED bulbs, motors, pumps, etc. on the national replacement programs. We are suggesting that blower also has a potential of almost 20 to 30% energy savings is possible in the existing blowers by replacement. Let us take that way to improve upon the total efficiency of the blower system, AHU systems by minimum 30%. So you can see the flat efficiency curve of the motor and the inverse umbrella type efficiency of the airfoil or the backward, everything is a narrow band, whereas the motor is a broad band. The efficiency of the motor and this impeller, if this is combined together, if it is superimposed, this is where we are taking the impeller, and this is the best efficiency possible for the given impeller. So for an air conditioning segment, definitely the airfoil impeller is the best suitable impeller. It can be on the centrifugal backward curved inclined, or it can be a plenum type, or it's a plug type also. Bureau of Energy Efficiency clearly dictates what are the types of inverter that is impellers that is used in the AHUs. We have seen in many of the energy audits in the industries, somewhere in the air conditioning side, somewhere in the utility part of the industry, we are somewhere between backward curved and radial, modified radial we say. It is almost around 60 to 65% only it comes. Whereas the backward curved inclined, that is almost 79%, and the airfoil blades, which gives the maximum efficiency of 83%. So what is the impeller type and efficiency from the OEM that is been supplied to the existing installation, AC installation, and what is the best efficiency or the operating point that is to be given to us when you are commissioning or when you are running the system. Let us say, now thanks to the EC fans that is all coming up, electronically commutated fans, they are trying to use the PM motors, and any PM motor, this is a 50 HP motors curve from thanks to ABB's this one inputs, technical inputs. Our green graph shows the standard motor, whereas the orange one shows the IE3 motor, and the red one shows the PM motor, permanent magnet motor. See, this permanent motor, why we are going for a PM motor or why we are going for IE3 motor now is the efficiency curve is more flatter and the part load efficiency is much better in the IE3 and PM motors compared to the old, many times reworn, all the standard IE1 motors we say. The IE2 motor has been become under the ministry and the gazette. It is already mandated. Any AEMs, there is the AC OEMs are supposed to use minimum IE2 motor only as per the gazette from Jan 2018. Now IE3 motor, when you are making the IE2 motor as VFD compatible, then you need to go for IE3 motor only, so that the motor becomes VFD compatible, and it is very much useful for the air conditioning applications. It is a typical air conditioning AHU blower we have taken during the energy audit. I just want to share some of the screenshots. You can find the AHU is the electrical power readings show less power factor. That is, the electrical distribution for a given blower also is more important, because the blower is at the tail end. Once it is at the tail end, once the existing installation, existing industry or the air conditioning premises, it is having a lot, the single phasing or there is single phase loads or the unbalance in loads is possible. And blower or the AHU is at the tail end of one electrical distribution. So the power factor is around 0.7 or 0.6 or 0.7 only when the blower is operated at 50% efficiency, 50% loading as such. So at 50% loading, if you want to improve, so load and compensation definitely improves the blower's, the voltage improvement to the blower. Then definitely the kVA reduction is there at the incoming side if it is a ST consumer. And if the blower has been used with the retrofit of VFD, we find many of the air conditioning units, especially on the compressors, blowers and pumps, many of the VFDs that is functioning, that is ejecting almost at the incoming side, lot of harmonics on the THD. And if this has to be curved, definitely we need to go for a line reactance stroke at the input of the VFD. And you see to it, it is a mandatory provision to be done in all your installations, because this has become mandatory. The existing AC OEM is giving a DC link choke on a VFD, which is able to house the harmonics at the VFD, but it is not able to control the harmonics that is being pumped to the incoming. So if you want to have a control, or if you want to have the THD reduction in the existing client industry, client premises, definitely you need to have a AC line reactance stroke to be definitely retrofitted at the incoming of your VFD to reduce the THD. H5 and H7 is the critical components of the THD that is going to matter for us. Coming to the blowers, the motors at the tail end, definitely it has an unbalance in distribution. The voltage unbalance is definitely there. See, I am just going point by point. For a AHU, what is the input given? How much of the input, what you are deriving from the EB side, it is all 230 volts single phase, it's perfectly okay, 400, 410, 15 volt, everything is okay. But at the point of delivery at the blower, we find a voltage unbalance of almost, if you say the voltage unbalance of around 5% means the blower motor automatically gets derated to 75% only it is working. It gets derated by 25%. So we come across why the AHU is running at half load, and a typical centrifugal backward curved impeller's design is such that even if the blower goes for overload, the power definitely comes down. The curve is like that. The power comes down, that it starts at early side, and at the overload also the power comes down. That is the specialty of the centrifugal backward curved impeller's design. Let us say if your blowers are running at half the load, definitely the air circulation inside the premises is getting affected. So you see it that the voltage input and each of the three phases of the given blower, any motor is a three-phase balanced motor only, but if it is getting an input of unbalanced input, definitely the blower motor gets derated by 25% if it is a 5% unbalance. So let us see to it that the unbalance does not happen at the input of the blowers. Next, this is a definitely a wanted changeover from the thermal overload relay to the electronic overload relay. It is called motor protection relay. It is almost at an affordable price of say 1,500 or 2,000. It is at an affordable price of thermal OLR only, but it is able to give the all our air conditioning main AC compressors. AC compressor has a lot of protections. It's fine, but all the AHUs and pumps, if this can be fitted instead of the thermal OLR, this electronic motor protection relay is fitted, definitely we can know whether the pump is running at normal load or overload or underload. A blower which is running at underload, it is a cause of concern, especially post-COVID times when the air circulation is less and the air that is thrown from the blower is less. Definitely the IAQ of the air conditioning premises is put to task. It is going to vary very badly. So the large scale continuous industries, they have gone for an alert and trip mechanism for any of their process equipments as well as for the processes. Let us try to inculcate that practice in all our air conditioning installations, any of the ducted package or any of the packages or any of the AHUs or the pumps where you are using. Going for a thermal, instead of a thermal overload relay, you go for electronic motor protection relay, which gives an alarm for underload and it can trip the pump or AHU on overload. It is a foolproof mechanism, and even at any point of loading, at 50% of loading of a given AHU, if the thermal load relay will definitely not sense and work in case of any unbalance or any single phasing happens. But it is a case of electronic and motor protection relay, definitely the AHU is saved there. And it also indicates to the user that the blower or the AHU is running at only 50%. You have to take the action. Yeah, AHU, if it is running less than the rated loading, it is a cause, it is a concern where the airflow and the air circulation and the air balancing is getting affected within the premises. So let us ensure that no burnouts happens in the AHUs by retrofitting these electronic motor protection relays in any of the hereafter in any of the AC air conditioning installations. The methodologies are the common parameters that is measured in the fans and blowers is that is the input electricity consumption for any, see, Bureau of Energy Efficiency says any motor above 3 HP, if it is running for 2 shifts a day, definitely you fit a meter for almost, it's only a cost of 2,000 rupees. You can just fit for any of the AHUs, it has to be fitted. You need a run-hour meter and a kWh meter to know how many hours the blower has run and how many kWh the blower has consumed per hour, units per hour. Then the suction head and the delivery head in the millimeters of water column, or the Pascal we say. 1 Pascal is almost, that is 1 bar is 1 lakh Pascal, you can assume. So instead of talking in bar in pressures, let us talk in Pascals, especially for the blower on the suction and delivery. The static Pascal is a critical parameter in the blowers. Hereafter, we have to see to it to improve the efficiency of the blower and overall efficiency of the air conditioning unit also. The fluid temperature, what is the temperature? We are definitely monitoring in the air conditioning side. It's a general input, but for the air conditioning, we are already monitoring the temperature and the flow if possible, if the variations are felt if it is needed. Typically, Bureau of Energy Efficiency shares only one aspect. Classify your loads as variable torque loads or constant torque loads. Many of your centrifugal pumps, compressors, it comes, and mainly the blowers, it comes under variable torque load, where the RPM of a given blower is a very critical value, which indicates the flow, which indicates the static pressure, and which indicates the kilowatt consumption for a given blower. We call it as a cube law. It's an excellent candidate. See, the VFD is now we are recommending to the industry to go for a VFD to achieve the energy conservation at the least possible given input kilowatt and achieve the same output. But this will become a mandatory phenomena for all the blowers or for all the VFDs, variable frequency, variable torque loads. I am telling. The VFD will be a mandatory retrofit for all these type of blowers to achieve the best efficiency possible in the given blower. Normally, the industry thinks once they fit a VFD to the given blower, we can achieve around 20 to 30%. It is not the question of 20 to 30%, it is achievable by the VFD alone. The VFD has to follow the best efficiency curve of the given blower. The fan performance curve is a critical parameter to be available from the AHE OEM to the air conditioning OEMs, ASC service providers to the users. We need to know where we are operating the fan performance curve for the given static pressure and the flow. Okay. Now, this power savings is very much possible in a given blower, but it is not possible in the pumps because pumps need a minimum static head. Either the primary pumps or the secondary pumps, they need a minimum static head. After that only it has to overcome and it has to optimize and to achieve the savings. So the percentage of savings, energy savings achievable in a blower is very much more compared to the pumping system. But definitely the centrifugal pumps also need a VFD to match the, ultimately we are trying to have a streamlined flow rate. Say if it is 3 meters per second or something, what is the OEM has told us, what is the system resistance, and for which what is the flow rate to be maintained, what is the velocity or the meter per second of the given air that has to be maintained. Let us maintain it. The fan's affinity laws, automatically the RPM will decide the flow rate for a given AHU, and the same RPM of the AHU will decide the static pressure. That is, the RPM square of the RPM will give the static pressure of the given blower, and the cube of the RPM will give the power input or increase or decrease for a given blower. When I am reducing the RPM by 10% for a given blower, automatically the flow reduces by 10%, whereas the pressure reduces by 19%. The static pressure reduces by 19%. This is where we have to concentrate whether the RPM reduction has reduced the static pressure, or the filters that is choked that has reduced the static pressure. All these aspects, they definitely tell upon the indoor air quality or the what is the supply air requirement volume that is to be available at the premises. That is not there now. The main reason is the blower running at a lesser RPM or the filter is getting choked. Then when a blower RPM goes by 10% down, automatically the power savings almost around 30%, 27% power savings is possible. So the main idea is not to concentrate on the power savings. Let us have the fixed output for which what is the input reduction in the kilowatt or the power. That is what we are looking at. That is called conservation. Now the plenum fans or the plug fans, it is almost best suited for the HVAC applications. Many of the high profile OEMs, AC OEMs, as well as the air conditioning managers. This is taken from Carriers, this one only, corporation. So the plug fans, it is very much suited to the HVAC application, and it is definitely an excellent candidate to be replaced from the existing blowers. It has a larger spinning wheel and a higher speed. Automatically, the pressure and the flow are comparable to that of a housed fan, and it is definitely superior to that of a housed fan. This is a CAA case study, Confederation Indian Industry case study, how it is done, and how, see, again, here also we can say, a directly coupled fan, it has a lesser flexibility than a belt driven fan. I'll just come to that also as it. So you can see thanks to Carrier Corporation. This is a case study from Carrier only, where it is a 25,000 CFM blower. The motor is for 30 kilowatt, and the brake horsepower on the blower shaft that is delivered or that is required or demanded by the blower. If it is a forward curve, it's different, but we are talking about airfoil and a centrifugal belt-driven plenum fan. Airfoil fan needs almost 32 HP, whereas a belt-driven plenum fan, it needs only the least HP. The blower shaft kilowatt that is demanded, if the impeller is a plenum type, airfoil plenum type, definitely it is the lowest. So this is going to take up in a significant way. Ultimately, what we are interested is the external static pressure or the application, the pressure drop that is happening from the supply to return. This is a critical or a significant factor decided about the fan sizing or fan selection also. Having gone for the fan selection, the drop is not supposed, whatever is the drop that is recommended, that is achievable, that is the best size of the right size of fan we are selecting here. Then the static pressure measurement we can do by YouTube, we can do by YouTube manometer, we can do by digitalized this one. This is available from Testo. It costs around 8,000 rupees. Any of the AC service provider is supposed to have the static pressure monitor at the delivery and the suction of the blowers. Wherever it is possible, it is to be measured at a streamlined area. When the plenum is having a streamlined flow of air, that can be measured and it is definitely checked upon further. So digitalizing the monitoring and based on closed loop control of the existing VFD of the AHU, this delivers more energy conservation. Let us say the blower performance of a given blower. This blower is delivering almost 12,000. That is, the AHU OEM has given an expected performance of 14,000 CFM at 10 inches of water column. But in practice, the system curve, where it is happening is, it has dropped down the CFM to 12, so almost 12,000 CFM, and the static pressure has gone to 14 inches now. So this calculated and the system effect is more important than the calculated values. The system effect and the static pressure where it meets, that is the best efficiency point. This is where we have to go and work on the best efficiency point for the given AHU. Why I was suggesting that is, all the filters where we are using that the downstream of the blowers, especially on the supply side AHUs, we find the drop is more. You can see a dirty filter is taking a higher static pressure and a clean filter is taking the lower static pressure. A filter is defined, what is the minimum allowable delta P across the filter, what is the rated delta P, what is the maximum delta P it can take, what is the minimum it should be there when it is installed. So these are all the 4 parameters for the given filter. After the heat exchanger, that is this much of filtration it is supposed to happen, and the static pressure drop. This is going to decide the level of CO2 that is raising in the indoor of the air conditioning premises. And IOQ is a critical parameter now post-COVID times. That is, in the post-COVID times, level on, say the AHU has done an excellent loading to maintain an air circulation inside the premises, as well as the air balancing can be achieved if the AHU is loaded in a optimum and a correct loading only. If it is loaded less and if it is delivering less CFM, definitely IAQ is going to be a big task for us. So the fan efficiency performance, what we seen in the AHU is the ratio of the power that is conveyed to the airstream, or the power delivered by the motor to the fan shaft, the blower shaft, or it depends again on the fan and the impeller. The graph of the different pressures, the fan performance curve, whenever we are buying the AC provider or a air conditioning plant or a user or an industry, when we are buying a blower, it needs to come with a fan performance curve only. If it is not with a fan performance curve, it is like buying a commodity. So if you have already bought a fan, try to retrieve the fan performance curve to study where we stand on the given blower for the given optimum loading, optimum static pressure and optimum kilowatt. It is a typical blower nameplate of a AHU only. It's a branded AHU only, where the contributing factors for the blower efficiency is centrifugal backward curved impeller, and the static pressure, the volume, and the RPM. RPM of the motor is critical, but RPM of the blower is more critical. High volume, low speed. This is the latest concept or the latest trend where we are gone for even the vertical ceiling type fans, high volume, low speed, which is able to give you a wind chilling effect in the inside the premises. As well as for the blower, if it is able to run at 750 RPM or 960 RPM, it is able to deliver a best efficiency or the best performance curve, best efficiency point and the given performance curve. So the blower efficiency is around 60% means the contributing factors are the static pressure, the volume and the RPM of the blower. How this can be controlled upon? The static pressure means the system resistance. System resistance is again the total pressure is the sum of static and dynamic pressure only, but we are concentrating more on the static pressure because the static pressure is a function of the ducts, the pickups, the elbows and the pressure drops across the equipments. Wherever the duct we have gone, we go by the A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2, area and volume, this velocity only. But still, the system resistance varies with the square of the volume of the air flowing through the system. See, the longer and narrow ducts are many short bends. It introduces more resistance in the blower delivery, static pressure. And larger ducts and fewer bends and longer bends, that always gives a less resistance in the static pressure. So let us revisit to the blower nameplate where we visually check and we find the blower impulse is around 60 to 70% means we just use the Bureau of Energy Efficiency's simple calculation of how to calculate the existing fan's static efficiency. Volume in meter cube per second to static pressure in mm of water column by the power input to the shaft, blower shaft, automatically gives the fan efficiency. So whatever blower you are coming across, first you calculate and find your system. The blower's efficiency is matching to the existing air conditioning system. The centrifugal blowers, what we are supposed to use in the air conditioning is airfoil blades only, because airfoil is giving the maximum efficiency impeller in the impeller. If it is a dust-prone condition only, then you have to go for inclined impeller. But if it is airfoil type, it is the best suited for air conditioning implications. The three curves, the static pressure and the mechanical efficiency, the HP, the power input. The point where the static pressure and the mechanical efficiency hits in the curve, this is the best efficiency point, or it is able to deliver the stable performance characteristic for the given blower. It is on the curve type or the airfoil type. This is the area which we need for each and every blower now. What are all the blowers that you have in your system on the air conditioning system? Is it like this? It is a flat plate, backward curved still, but it is a flat plate. It is not even inclined. This deliver only 5 to 10% less efficiency only. So just check your impeller design, whether you are in the very old poor efficient impeller or it is a latest efficient impeller. And if it is a curved impeller or it's a flat plate impeller. If it is a flat plate curved impeller, the drop is around 5 to 7%. This also it can be checked. And if it is airfoil, it is near to airfoil. That inclined impeller means it's near to airfoil. This is where the maximum delivery is possible. And on the air conditioning segment, we need only the airfoil type impeller. Then comes the belts and pulleys, the transmissions. Please don't allow the visible losses to happen by rightly sizing and gripping. The Indian Dentist Association says the toothbrush needs a grip in your this one, and it needs to be replaced once in 3 months. Similarly, all your belts and pulleys are all replaceable or consumable to maintain the grip on the motor and machine. The motor and machine has to be gripped by the belts, and the pulleys also has to be very much, it should not be glossy as such. So the typical energy losses or the percentage losses that is happening in the given V-belt systems, all your V-belt systems, if it is say it is around 5 HP, almost 7 to 13% is the loss that is happening in the system. This can be controlled upon. This can be definitely brought down to less than 2%. Let us go in also into that as such. What is your existing blower is on the left side, you can see the existing blower. How it is like that? It's a small pulley with a loose this one belt and it's a heavy belt. 7 out of 10 cases it's a heavy belt and it is over designed. The belts and pulleys itself, they consume more of power. It should not consume, but it is consuming more power. So it is a immediate zero cost. I don't say it's a zero cost, it's a very low cost. Within a maximum of 2 or 3 months, the payback is done from this V-belt pulley to this cogged belt pulley. And when you are changing the cogged belt pulley, you can also change the pulley, you can also resize your pulley. To achieve a better grip, the coefficient of friction does not reduce. It is able to sustain for minimum 2 to 3 years. And any pulley is rated for only 40,000 hours, even if it is running for continuous rating. A typical belt and blower that is fixed on a AHU, you can, if you, the belt and pulley also can make the AHU motor to fail, or can go ask them to go for overload and can make the motor to fail if it is too much given the tension. You can see the belt is having almost 78 to 80 degrees temperature because the over tensioning is there on the belt. It should be slack, and it should not be slack, very much slack. It should be touching and it should be gripping the pulley. If it is not gripping, it is going to be a loss for the system. The motor is running at 1500 RPM, a 4-pole motor, and the belt is gripping and it is causing the motor to give more of slippage, which it is a loss to the motor as a system. And any of your given motor, it's on the AHU or it is on the pumps or it is on the compressors also, driven to non-driven, the temperature difference should be less than 20 degrees. The thermal imaging, see what are we doing the energy audits, I'm just discussing with you. I'm just trying to share the energy audit procedures we condition, we monitor, and what all it is done in all the air conditioning plants also. Our thermal imager will definitely show whether the motor is misaligned. The driven to non-driven temperature is going more than 20 degrees, it is going for misalignment, and the bearing is put to lot of strain, and there it needs to be changed. You can see the bearing is almost taking the bearing is put to misalignment, it is taking almost 140 degrees, whereas the ambient temperature is only around 30 degrees only. This is the area where when you are able to do the thermal imaging for all your motors, this will give you an input where the motors are strained more. A typical motor to blower with B-belts where all your, it is taken on a IT building at Chennai only, but we found almost 20% is the loss. See, we are trying to achieve a part load efficiency kilowatt per ton from 1.5 to we are trying to bring to almost 0.5 to 0.7 kilowatt per ton. We are talking about the overall efficiency. But when you have a dead band of almost 20% in your AHU loss, AHU efficiency, a slippage of 20%, this is going to make a dent in your overall efficiency of the air conditioning system. See, having generated such a heavy torque in the motor, if the blower is getting only, see, instead of 1464 RPM, I am getting after the step down pulley, we are supposed to get 976 RPM at the blower end, we are getting only 771 RPM. This is happening in many of the blowers because it has not been looked into. But thanks to the IoT, let us also think about IoT devices where you can fit it on the motor and this blower to know what is the difference in slip or the RPM that is happening in the revolutions per minute. And ultimately, this can also give you an input. When you are trying to improvise on the existing air conditioning installations, these are all the areas to be addressed as such. A typical pulley sizing or a resizing, it's a 50 HP motor, blower motor, a 2-inch reduction on a motor pulley. It was an 8-inch motor, 8-inch pulley on a given motor at 1470 RPM. It was just reduced to 6-inch, 2-inch reduction was done because there they wanted only less CFM at the premises. The client premises, they have reduced the premises volume. So they wanted to reduce the premises, airflow. So they just reduced the 2-inch pulley by 2 inches from 8 inches to 6 inches. Automatically the kilowatt from 26 kilowatt to 11 kilowatt it came. It is a simple, almost a very low cost of installation. But here, whatever the pulleys that is being used in all our AHU blowers, wherever we have done the energy audits, we found that all the pulleys are looking with a visible sign of glossy looking with this dished out pulleys we call, and it is totally looking glossy and it is slippery. Once a pulley becomes slippery, it is a point of loss. It is a where visible loss. And almost say, see, we talk about less than 2%. Whenever it is a blower is installed or AHU is installed, it should be less than 2% the motor to machine. And this motor to blower. If it is more than 5% or 10%, it is a loss and it is an energy loss, visible loss to be replaced immediately and to be corrected immediately. Here, that's why we are trying to go for VFD application for a given blower. The VFD retrofit definitely gives optimized loading compared to a damper control. Damper control means if you see the damper control, it is at 60% energy consumption, Where it is, if it is a VFD, it is only 20% energy consumption. So VFD definitely reduces the input kilowatt for the same given output. But here the static pressure drops in case of VFD, and have your monitoring on the static pressure and then go for a hertz reduction or a input kilowatt reduction through VFD. It is a typical AHU blower system where we find a typical blower where the nameplate says 5.5 kilowatts, 1.5 HP motor with a 4-pole 1500 IPA and air quantity of 9600 CFM. A static pressure of 40 mm water column is delivered at the blower delivery. Let us say the blower speed is brought down by pulley reduction to 1200 RPM. This study has been done in Lakshmi Electrical Control Systems, Coimbatore, at the new tool room center in December 19 last year. It is done. It's running for the past 6 months or 7 months. It is meant for a new tool room application that they cannot compromise the airflow or the CFM or the temperature and RH they have to maintain in the cool room application. The VFD and belt pulley combination did give a savings of almost 30 to 40%. Let us look into it how it is achieved as such. The energy conservation is done here by oversizing the motor pulley and the pulley resizing. You can see the speed ratio. The given motor pulley and machine pulley is blower pulley is 130 and 155, the existing pulley AHU, and what it is done on the new pulley is 170. It is made a reverse and it is given 170 on the motor side and 140 on the pulley side, and VFD is put to action. So once the VFD is there and the pulley resizing is done on the given AHU, it is a 10-ton machine. It is a branded AHU, still branded AC, and they are able to achieve around 40%. Almost it is 43%. How it is? Because they are able to rise the RPM of the blower RPM instead of 1215 RPM. You can go by the calculation also. It's all, everything is open. It's transparent. At 1215 RPM, because here the frequency was slightly more, instead of 1200 it came to 1215 at 50 Hertz. Okay. At 1215 RPM of the blower, it was operating at 50 Hertz before. Now the same is raised to 1660, 760 RPM of 50 Hertz, and the VFD is brought down to 35 Hertz instead of 50 Hertz. Automatically the kilowatt came down, and from 7.7 amps it came to 4.3 amps, and the per day consumption for the given blower for the given AHU is only 5 units per hour, and it's 120 units before it was consuming. And after this VFD and the pulley resizing and going for the carved belts, here the slip percentage was very much brought to control, going for this raw carved belt, and the same brand only, but instead of a V belt, the carved belt is able to have a sustainable slip droppage less than 2%. If it is a V belt, the droppage is more and it is varying. Whereas if it is a raw carved belt for a given life, if it is a V belt for 6 months, it comes for 1 year. It is almost double the belt life, but you are able to sustain the slip less than 2%. It's around 1 to 1.5 only. And what is achieved here in this AHU, this can be very much achieved. It is very much achievable in all the AHUs on the existing AHUs. I am not saying that you need to go for a EC fan as a best replacement. See, existing AHU, what is possible, let us achieve. Going for a VFD and pulley resizing and on the speed ratio, altering the speed ratio, definitely it is able to, this VFD and pulley combination, they facilitated this AHU to go for the best efficiency point in the fan performance curve. This is what we are trying to concentrate here. You can concentrate in any of your installations, air conditioning installations, AHUs can be brought down to 20 to 30% minimum to suit the best efficiency point in the performance curve. Ultimately, this is achievable and the payback is simple. Payback is within 3 months. Cost is just 30,000 and per month the return is almost 10,000, and it is achievable in within the payback is return on investment is 3 months. So this is achievable. This one is changing the impeller, that is a big change. But yeah, retrofitting the pulley and belt and the VFD, this is done. It can be done. It's a quick fix, and it is easily done, and instantly you can see the results. The VFD for a given blower, many of the industries, utilities think, or even the air conditioning majors think, VFD is used for manual operation. Let us operate the VFD at 50 Hertz or 45 Hertz. It is not for manual. Let us not use the VFD as a variable pulley option alone. Let us try to use the VFD on a closed loop control system based on the static pressure as the input, as the sensor, and operate the output, final control element of the VFD, the Hertz reduction is possible, or the Hertz variation is possible based on the input static pressure fluctuations on the blower delivery. So a VFD is an excellent candidate if you are operating the system between say 30 to 70%. It is around 50% to 70% is more ideal to operate. Not at 80 to 100%, the VFD does not have any say. It is in fact consuming more when you are operating the VFD for a given blower above the blower's speed. So a VFD is operated at 50% or 70% of the loading of the blower. This facilitates the best efficiency performance achievable in the given blower or the given AHU. So a typical pointer to all our ASHRAE members, thanks to the distinguished members of ASHRAE and IAMP, be certified energy managers and auditors. Let us collectively work on our respective domains to reduce the, ultimately our aim is users' annual energy consumption of the air conditioning utility has to come down. This is a win-win situation for a user, for a AC service provider, for an air conditioning plant user, for a maintenance, as well as for an energy conservation team. So wherever the HVAC installations are there, suggest the user industry or the building, user industry or a building to conduct energy audit. This energy audit is to reduce their energy bills. More than the reduction of energy bills, we are trying to sustain the safety of the air conditioning systems, subsystems. And when we are able to maintain the safety of the existing subsystems, automatically we are achieving the energy savings. And once we are achieving the energy savings, the energy monitoring at the AC package, definitely we are able to sustain the AC efficiency for longer years to come. So after all, the energy conservation is our collective responsibility for a given AC service provider, AC user, and an energy conservation team, either from the internal or from the energy audit team. So energy conservation measure before and after the study. Any of the energy conservation measures done on the air conditioning systems, before it can be on AHU, it can be on the pumps, or it can be on the compressors. What are the, either the kilowatt per hour it has to come down, that is the reduction in kilowatt or reduction in input for the given output, or you allow the output to run at the best efficiency point, but the run hours has to come down. This is the two area we are trying to address to now. So either the AC run hours should come down or the kilowatt per hour should come down for the given air conditioning system itself. AHU also it has to come down. See, all subsystems make to the macro efficiency of the given system, and the macro inefficiency of the given system, air conditioning system, is due to the poor efficiency of the subsystems at AHU and pumps. This can be adjusted upon. So let us first try to have the energy study and the audit that is conducted internally by the user itself. Then to have the energy audit study by the be certified and accredited energy auditors, plenty are there throughout India, pan-India. More than 10,000 professionals are there. Let us have the energy audit study for the existing air conditioning system, and it is a win-win situation for a air conditioning service provider that he is able to work as a team along with a energy auditor to reduce the user's electricity bills, energy bills. But the energy audit cannot be replaced by guess estimate. Many of the consultants, they do the guess estimate. Let us not do any guess estimate, especially the energy conservation is concerned. If it is to be energy conservation to be done, means energy has to be monitored. That is what BE says. Always monitor your energy consumption to target the reduction of energy consumption. Don't do the guesswork and estimating the energy. This can be this much, this can be this much. The power factor is always at 0.9. It is not happening. The power factor is almost at 0.5 or 0.6. When the blower is loading at only at 50% of loading, or the pumps is loaded at 50%. This is happening. So let us try to reduce the kVA of a given AC consumer. Let us try to reduce the kWh or the energy bill of the given consumer. In any energy management, buying an energy efficient air conditioning system, let us say you have given an excellent air conditioning system to a given client, but that is only half done. But how it is efficiently loaded and it is run, that is the other half. The day-to-day energy management, the day-to-day management by preventive, predictive energy management and the maintenance management by the users in the buildings, thanks to the IoT devices, which are all in situ devices, And the portable devices like the power quality analyzers to see the power quality also. Power quality is becoming, it is overtaking the power consumption now because the penalty is implied more by the EB authorities now. And it is also reducing the kVA of a given consumer. And the energy conservation is possible in a given air conditioning system when each of the subsystem is healthy. If any of the subsystem, let us say I am having a 20% reduction in sleep on a given AHU, ultimately they should show this will be a dead band. It's a dead zone where you are trying to have a final control element of the air conditioning system to work upon the AHU, but the AHU, the communication gap is there from the air conditioning AHU input and the output on the blower's delivery. Ultimately, the air circulation suffers and the air balancing suffers. Supply to return. So let us try to correct the individual AHU subsystem, the defects, existing defects on the maintenance side, on the impeller side, on the motor to machine transmission, power transmission side, and on the retrofitting the VFDs. These are all the 4 parameters of the energy conservation measures we are suggesting, especially in our energy audit proposals. And this is very much executable immediately, instantly for a given client. And we always have a undercover of safety. We are not compromising on the safety when you are doing the energy conservation. When the safety fails, the conservation fails. So we always give due respect for the electrical safety. Then comes the when the safety is, but let us say you are giving an air conditioning system of a 10 tonner pack. The client says my air conditioning system needs to have a stable supply, but we cannot suggest to go for a microprocessor based or a servo stabilizer, unbalanced servo stabilizer as the input, as the main input for the air conditioning system. It is a very costly affair. So we are giving an optimized safety, but it is a robust safety, foolproof safety system for the air conditioning system at the input of the electrical side, and optimizing the air conditioning parameters subsystems, and achievely the energy efficient loadings backed up by condition monitoring. This condition monitoring only will say whether your loading is correct, whether your loading is efficient, or we are optimizing it. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Thanks for giving this opportunity. And if you have any questions, please, if the time is there, we'll definitely go into the depth of the questions. Thanks for giving this opportunity to Ashley. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Ashok, we have around 12 questions, sir.
Yes, sir.
So at the bottom of the screen, if you just click on the Q&A section.
Okay.
I think you can come out of the screen share now, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So first question is from Mr. Amit Gaikwad.
Okay.
It asks, sir, if I change AHU system, replace with FCU system, so what is effect occurs?
AHU system is for air handling unit from the air conditioning compressor to this one. Fan control system towards the evaporation column. So the air conditioning air handling unit has to do the performance, has to do the test of giving the CFM and static pressure to the premises. This is where the AHU is used, and we have to fix with the AHU only. Thank you.
We have Mithilesh Priya.
Yeah.
The question is it possible to make provision of direct coupled fan with motor in brackets with VFD instead of belt driven system?
I very much agree with you, sir. This is a area where everyone argues on the priority basis. Yeah, belt and pulley concept means definitely you will have say 1% or 2% the slip is there, but law of energy conservation says definitely you will have some losses in the system when you are cascading, but you have more flexibilities when it is belt and pulley driven. You find 9 out of 10 cases in all our air conditioning machines, package machines, all our air conditioning plants, everyone has gone for belt and pulley arrangement only with the VFD. They don't go for a VFD with direct coupling of belt and pulley. That is direct coupling of VFD to the motor. They don't go because one is maintenance wise they face the problems and the flexibility is lost, and the energy conservation also, the possibility of energy conservation is less if it is straightly driven. Thank you.
Mr. Sundara Shekharan.
Yeah.
This question is, in my understanding, when the pipeline size is higher, the pitot tube is good. If the pipeline size is smaller or medium, orifice is good due to more accuracy.
The pipeline is selected in such a, you see, a given AHU system, and the complementary system is the system resistance that is set by the static pressure for the given system. We are trying to reduce the bends, sharp bends to longer bends, and reducing the pipes. It doesn't mean that we are trying to reduce or increase the sizes. We are changing the MOC of ducts from say this square or rectangle. We are even going for a circular type. But whatever you are using by the annu bar, that has to be measured at multiple points on the given duct. At many of the points, this has to be average to get the pressure, and that has to be seen as such. And temperature, see the flow and the system temperature and the static pressure. All the three are important to deliver at the air conditioning premises at the client. Thank you, sir. What are the various parameters to be monitored in the energy audit in AHU? In the various parameters, one is the input kilowatt on each phase of the given AHU motor. Say each phase, if the voltage is unbalanced is there, definitely the current unbalance happens, and each phase kilowatt, kVA, kVR and power factor to be checked. Then is the static pressure at the blower delivery and at the suction points. Then comes the CFM if it is possible to be measured. And all the three parameters, and a thermal imager to see the thermal characteristic of the AHU motor, of the blower's motor, whether it is at the normal temperature, whether drive and non-drive temperature is not more, or the belt and pulley is at normal temperature as the top motor. So these are all the parameters to be looked in the energy audit in the AHU. Yes, sir. Thank you. Next, 10% speed reduction is 27%. It is practically possible. Yes, it's very much practically possible on a variable torque load, especially on a centrifugal backward curved impellers. This is very much possible. And the statistics what I have shared here on our table also, this 10% from 1450 RPM, around 10% reduction, straight away that 27 to around 27%. Subject to the mechanical clearances, it may be from 24 to 27%, but definitely it is achieved. Thank you, Shivakumar.
Mr. Sundarashekaran asks,
Yeah.
Nowadays, Teflon coated impellers are developed to increase the life of impellers. What is your view on this, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Subreshna. It is for a utility application for a given industry, it has to be looked into. If the equipment or the environment is hazardous, this Teflon coating, everything is needed. But if it is an HVAC equipment, it is almost a perfectly clean environment where you don't need this, provided the surrounding environment of the air conditioning premises is also very clean and clear. Teflon coating, it definitely improves for a hazardous environment or where the environment is more not engineered. For HVAC equipment, it is not needed as such. That's my simple suggestion. Thank you.
So there is one more question by him. Since the temperature is very critical parameter, is there any temperature pressure compensated flow is considered in these types of flow measurements, sir?
Definitely, sir. Definitely. It is to be, see, when we go for the AHU efficiency, the temperature of the fluid, see, an air density at 25 is around 1.1, at 45 it is 1.2, straight away 10% variation. So the temperature and the pressure compensated flow is only more critical, especially in the flow measurement. So all the flow measurements what we are doing at the field, that has to be pressure and temperature. Pressure means the static pressure, and the temperature what you are delivering to the air conditioning area, that is also be checked, because the RH is again banking on the temperature variation, wet bulb and dry bulb variations. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Shivarsu, his question, good evening, sir. Installing VFD to match the fan parameters may lead to 1. Introduction of harmonics in the supply side, 2. Higher initial cost, and 0.3. Type 2 coordination for projection system are major disadvantages. Can you kindly say the nominal payback of VFD installation over other low-cost measures?
Thank you, Sivarasu sir. Thank you, Professor. the question of installing a VFD for a given blower, we are seeing the total owning cost of the given blower. Let us say a typical of any motor, 1 kilowatt reduction on a given motor for almost 24/7 mode, say almost it's 50,000 rupees per year, it is a saving. So I am able to reduce around 2 units per hour by putting and installing a VFD retrofit on the given AHU. Definitely I'm getting 1 lakh rupees. So the return on investment will definitely pay way to have, because it's a short term payback, simple payback of less than few months. Definitely the, let us, I very much understand your, you are not, you feel let us not charge the client or let us not burden the client with the initial investment. But now the shared savings concept also has come. By installing a VFD within 3 months, it is getting paid back, means we have to educate the client that after the 3 months, it is a totally, you are getting 2 units per hour is a saving throughout the 1 year or create the 10-year life for the total cycle of the air conditioning. This is where you are saving. Next comes your higher initial cost. That is what I have said. The protection systems. Any of the AHUs on the, even on the air conditioning main compressor, it's a 220 tonner compressor also, or it's a 20 kilowatt or a 50 kilowatt pumps also, primary or secondary pumps, or even the AHUs. Any of the VFD driven equipments need to have a input or a AC line reactance tube to house arrest the harmonics. If it is not arrested at within the VFD system, this will scatter and it will even cause the, as you said, the type 2 coordination of the protection systems also may malfunction. So house arresting the harmonics is a mandatory thing which we have not in any of the industry utility, and especially in air conditioning utilities. Let us look into it and let us do it hereafter to let us avoid the penalty to the end user client. Also, let us see to it the malfunction does not happen if the VFDs are contained, that is the harmonics are contained within the VFD system. Thank you, Professor.
He has one more question, sir. What may be the nominal pressure to be maintained inside the AHU closed rooms?
Professor, this is a area what the blower nameplate says and what is the static pressure given. I have given a the nameplate where I have said a static pressure of almost 120, so that is around 40 mm of water column. So around 120 mm of water column. So this 120 mm of water column, if it is after the filters and how much is the reduction is decided by the AC air conditioning OEM and the AHU, this one blower, and as a system, how much is the reduction possible, what is system effect, what is the calculated values. And this much of reduction definitely will be there. That is to be given as a system. It varies from place to place, varies from AHU to AHU, varies from AHU. There is air conditioning manager to OEM to OEM. Thank you, Professor.
Sir, Mr. Anil Chaudhary of EESL.
Yes, sir.
In EESL, we are going to have chiller replacement as a national program, like motor replacements, lights, fans, ACs. Do you suggest similar program may be initiated for blowers? If yes, what new promising technology, bar nascent technology may be introduced?
Anil sir, thank you. You are from EESL. You are right on dot to this question. I thank you for this question. In fact, this is what we want because EESL has done on the bulbs, pumps, and motors. And blower is a gray area which has to be addressed to all the building segments and all the industry utilities. And question of changing the impeller, the basic, the nascent, I am just giving the nascent inputs only, where question of changing the impeller from the old profile impeller, which is around 60% efficient, we can go for a new impeller, which is 80% efficient. Straight away, 20% savings is there. 20% efficiency improvement is there in the impeller. And retrofitting of an existing blower with a VFD and a resized pulley combination, that definitely brings in another 10 to 15. Say, in our case study, we have seen almost 40% savings. Let us say, on a conservative say, let us say around 20% savings. So around total of 40% savings is possible by a combination of impeller, then the VFD and the pulley resizing, and going for a carved pulley instead of a V-belt pulley. V-belt pulley has to be banned throughout the industry because carved belt pulley, the power carrying capacity is more and the life is almost double that of a V-belt. So this combination of three factors will definitely will bring in 30 to 40% energy efficiency improvement in a given blower. And this blower also can be taken in the EESL as a next initiative from EESL to the Indian public, industry public. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
He has one more question. What range of capacity of blowers constitute major volume in industry?
Up to 10 HP blowers are maximum found, especially in our energy audits. Maybe the air conditioning ISRE professionals can say up to what HP the volumes are more. 5 HP the volumes are very much more. Next comes the 10 HP. Then only comes this 20 HP, 30 HP. And all. Their volumes are very much less, or the proportion or the percentage is very much less compared to this 5 HP and 10 HP. This is the area it can be attacked immediately. Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Anil Chattakonda, sir,
Yeah.
can you throw some light on variable air volume control based on the load requirements? And which is most energy efficient, either AHU volume control or AHU cooling coil water temperature control?
AHU volume control, it is part of VAV, variable air volume control. This will definitely on in tune with the VAV control, which is going to be planned. It can be, see, we are thinking of a system replacement. Instead of going for a system replacement of the existing AHU, if we do this VFD combination of a closed loop control of VFD on the based on the static pressure as the sensor, and the volume is varied for the given blower, automatically we are able to achieve this VAV control on the AHU, and ultimately the premises also will get an excellent air circulation, air changes, and air balancing is done. Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Ziauddin asks, how static pressure is important for AHU or FCU?
I will suggest, I will share the slides through ISRE, and the formula, simple formula says, what is the static pressure and the volume only? It's a multiplication of static pressure and volume only is going to decide the blower's efficiency. So static pressure, if it is not maintained at the optimum level, if it goes down post-COVID times, it is a critical problem. I am just giving a caution. ASHRAE professionals are very much aware. IAQ is to be a major thrust area, especially in the air conditioning side, air conditioning premises. So optimized velocity meter per second from the AHU, that is more important, and the static pressure is going to decide that instead of the volume, and the static pressure is going to decide the supply to return air throw and the air balance. Thank you.
Mr. Apparan Chaya, his question is, your views on BLDC blower?
The BLDC blower is definitely excellent. Only thing is, it is a typical permanent magnet motor. We are trying to fix in all the brushless DC motor. We are going to fix it at the input. That is the input part of the motor efficiency part we have improved. But the blower part is going to be the same centrifugal backward curved impeller. That efficiency has to be improved, means the impeller change will give you a better change at a lower cost than a change of BLDC motor. BLDC motor, definitely it has worked in all the ceiling fans. That is why whenever we do energy audits, we suggest go for a BLDC fan and a air conditioned area, in the air conditioned area, to have the reduce the hot air pockets within the air conditioned premises and achieve an excellent all-round volume having a same temperature within the air conditioned premises. Up to ceiling fans, BLDC fans have been proven and it is excellent. But the BLDC motors at a higher capacity, it is initially very costly, and the percentage savings in a BLDC motor to a IE3 motor or a IE4 or a PM motor, it is less only. Thank you.
Mr. Sitaraman Subramaniam.
Yeah.
Sir, is there any precautions for AHU with regard to COVID sanitization?
Sir, this is the point I have just touched upon here, where AHU, you should not go over AHU go for underload. If the AHU go for underload, it is a point to be checked immediately by the user why it has gone to underload. That has to be corrected. Various factors are the RPM or the slip losses in the motors or the filters. Our Coimbatore President Mr. Sandeep Raj will say, by just cleaning the filters of all the condensers, evaporators, and on all the AHUs, a typical mall or a shopping complex, how much they have improved upon the energy efficiency, and how much the efficiency of the users improved. That is the medical comfort or the medical health or the healthiness of the individuals inside the system. It definitely improves if the AHUs are maintained at an optimum loading, not above, not below. That is more critical. Thank you, sir.
So Mr. Tavamani's question is fluorization.
Fluorization is a separate concept by itself. Here I am trying to touch upon the basic concepts on the AHU flow to the, see, AHU is in between the main AC compressor and the premises. If this is not delivering correctly, if the transit is not delivered correctly, then it is tells upon the compressor kilowatt also, and it is telling upon the health of the users also. So this is where the AHU finds a critical place in the industry now, air conditioning industry, post-COVID times.
So we have an anonymous attendee. AHU will have some power characteristics. They always be installed first and then power parameters need to be taken. But some client asked to check their data sheet way before their installation and asked to suggest harmonic filters, capacitor banks.
Thank you.
This isn't the correct.
Yeah, I got the point. Thank you, sir. Normally, AHU, if it is, see, the air conditioning OEM or AHU OEM, AHU manufacturer is supposed to give the fan performance cues. At what all the static pressures, the flow rates is going to be there and the static pressure is going to be there. And once the blower is installed in the given system only, then the harmonics, the air conditioning measures or the AHU, the air conditioning measure as a part of a panel system when they are giving, they should see to it that the harmonics is totally curved or arrested, house arrested within the panel of the air conditioning panel, and it should not scatter to the other areas of the distribution to the client area. Thank you. It can be done only on running time, not on the before the startup. But the OEMs has to take all the precautions to deliver. See, the harmonic compliance is a part of AC OEM's mandatory regulation now. Thank you.
So Mr. Narayan Korde, his question is, how effective heat recovery system can be installed in pharma industries, as air should not be in contact directly or indirectly in the outgoing air?
Heat recovery systems, especially the heat recovery wheels, there are a lot of inputs that has come from the CII. It is not performing that efficiently that it is anticipated. So on the heat recovery systems, recoverable systems, you just have a foolproof system to go in for it, and unless it is proven on the given by the OEM, please have a second look and a second thought and then go for the heat recovery systems. Thank you.
Sir, Mr. Arpan Chaya has a question. Can you suggest best VFD supplier with low cost?
Arpan Chaya, the thing is, this is a webinar where I am supposed to talk only generic points, only totally neutral points. I cannot be branded with any of the VFD supplier. You go for a branded VFD supplier, we is supposed to give the best efficiency of the given blower and always at a power factor of 0.9. The variable capacitor in the VFD has to work at 0.9 power factor at any loading of the blower. First point. Second point, I am just telling you from the electrical point of view. Second point is the THD has to be contained. The harmonic compliance from the VFD branded OEM, you just check with them and they have to comply with the AC OEM's demand that the THD H5 and H7 has to be contained within the panel, within the VFD itself. Thank you.
Sir, Mr. Chandrini Sendil Raja. Sir, what are factors affecting energy audit system?
Energy audit, it's a procedure. The system means it is a utility, and the energy audit, we are looking, see, basically everyone will say energy audit is a procedure or a program to find the faults. It is not the question of finding faults. We are trying to find the energy efficiency improvements on the existing system. So we try to find what is the existing fault or the existing inefficiency in the given system, try to find that, spot that, address that by power quality meters, power quality load analyzers, and the thermal imagers. This will give these three, and the RPM meters, like the stroboscope, it is costing around 15,000. If it is a non-contact type, it is 3000 only. These things need to be needed as a part of energy audit system to monitor each and every subsystem. And if it is on the pump side, it has to measure the, by ultrasonic flow measurement, we have to measure the flow of the pump. These are all the monitors, parameters to be monitored to come to a conclusion what is the efficiency of the given air conditioning as a total system by calculating the individual subsystem efficiency. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mithilesh Priya, I have seen one AHU system connected with 40-ton air-cooled refrigerant-based chiller. Also, two numbers of 4-ton ductable type AC in AHU duct is connected to stop the chiller in underload conditions. When load reduces below 8 ton and start the package AC, is this energy efficient method?
Normally, for any of your air conditioning methodologies, are you operating the system at the best kilowatt, least kilowatt per ton? You just see to it and you measure, you monitor it. Bureau of Energy Efficiency says only one point. Above 3 HP of any of your machines, AC compressor or a motor or a pump or anything, have your KWH meter and a run hour meter. You see your units per hour and the running hours. And if you are seeing the kilowatt per ton is the best available for the 40 tonner, or if it is a very much lower loading at 4 tonner, whatever that is achieved, you go for it. If it is to be, if the demand is only for a 4 ton, it is no point in running a 40 ton at a VFD. Many of the places where even in a platinum rated green building where we have done energy audit, we found it's a 30 tonner where all the 5 tonner 6 AHU 6 compressors were there. On all the 6 compressors were put to VFD to run a 30 tonner system at the daytime, but in the night time they wanted only 20 tonner. We suggested only one modification, just have the 5 kilowatt 5 tonner this one compressors to be switched off, and night run only 20 tonner and daytime run the 30 tonner. So it is a logical thinking, technical common sense we are trying to apply to reduce the energy consumption. At the same time, we are not optimizing on the output of the given AHU or the given system, air conditioning system, for the given demanded air conditioning premises. Thank you.
So, Mr. Narayan Korte, good evening. It is really nice presentation. At our Teva Pharma, we are installing brushless DC, multiple PEP motor-driven centrifugal fans with VFD drive. What else can we do further to reduce energy consumption?
A simple idea, maybe you either do energy audit by yourself or you call the energy auditors in your area and get it done. The normally you view as a the view from the user on your maintenance is different, and the view third party's view as an energy auditor, his view is different. Our view is always whether the subsystem efficiency is best when it is optimally loaded. Other one is whether the unsafe conditions, we measure the transients. Whenever the machine is switched on and off, the transient voltages spikes and swells, all the surges. This will indicate what is the problem in the system. See, we see different aspects on the electrical distribution side, on the motor side, on the thermal imaging side, then on the process side. If it is on the chilled water system side, whether we are operating the chilled water at what temperature and what is the supply and heater, all the aspects to be looked into to arrive at further scope for energy consumption. Unless we monitor the further scope for energy consumption is very difficult to discuss in webinar, but it is practical if it is done at the field by energy. Thank you.
So, Mr. Kalpesh Fofaria, average suction and discharge velocity.
You go by the air conditioning OEM's guidelines, what they have suggested. See, again, as I was telling, it is a complementary for the given AHU and the system resistance. What is the suction and discharge velocity to be maintained? It is 3 meters per second or 4 meters per second. What is to be maintained for a streamlined flow, not a turbulent flow? Thus, you try to maintain it and you achieve it. And you go by the OEM's recommendation. What is the velocity measurable? What is measured, and what is the maximum, minimum, and maximum that is kept to be kept by the OEM suggested to you? Thank you.
So here's one more question. BMS cost vis-a-vis energy savings in AHU.
Pardon, sir? BMS cost.
Cost.
Yeah, definitely. See, my first slide says the BMS cost. It definitely is the practices. The BMS is always involving in the practices of the air conditioning usage. And what is the maintenance? What is the generation? See, one is on the generation, one is on the distribution, one is on the usage. The mere BMS prioritizes its inputs on the air conditioning usage. So definitely all are included, all are to be added and intertwinkled or intermixed to achieve the overall efficiency. Thank you.
Sir, sorry for the interruption.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
There are 15 more questions.
Yes, sir.
Should we answer them or shall we reply them later?
I will leave it to
Now
you.
already it is
7.
7:25. It is left to your convenience, sir.
No, I will
Sendil,
leave it to
7
your
more
convenience.
questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
Sir, how are you comfortable, sir?
I am very much comfortable, sir. I
Okay.
leave it to our organizing team. Thank you.
Yeah,
sir.
Okay. Not an issue, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Please,
Yeah,
sir.
next question, Manish.
so Mr. Anil Chatakonda continues his question. He says, thanks for the answer, sir. A continuation question. Changing chilled water coil temperature will help more or VAV control will help more in case of variable load?
Exactly, Anil. I remember. I follow you in LinkedIn. Okay. The point is, air conditioning compressor. I just go by the Pareto principle only. The air conditioning compressor's kilowatt consumption or the energy consumption is varied. It is made variable by the AHU and the pumps only, primary and secondary pumps. So if all are intermixed so that each subsystem efficiency is achieved only, the overall system efficiency can be achieved. Thank you, Anil.
Mr. Siviksha Sendil.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the connection between AHU and renewable energy? According to you, as we are right now focusing on renewable energies like solar and wind.
Mr. Sandil, energy conservation is at the bottom of the energy pyramid. Once the energy conservation is done only, then the energy efficiency happens. Then comes only the renewables. That is how we work as per the energy pyramid. And this energy conservation to energy efficiency itself, the change you can see, if I am changing the existing blower, what all the existing blower's parameters altered, fine-tuned, optimized, that is energy conservation. If I am changing my existing blower to EC commutated blower, electronically commutated blower, then it is energy efficiency. It is a system change, but the system change, whether it is warranted, whether it is mandated, that has to be, it's a big question. Then only comes the renewable, but definitely all the three have to go in together to achieve the total overall, the pyramid output to be achieved. Thank you.
Mr. Sivarusu, sir, installing the UV lamp at the AHU cooling coil will also and good solution to avoid the spread of virus bacteria, especially in mechanically ventilated buildings.
Professor, you have touched the right point. I think Ashray and Ishray, they are very much concentrating on this now. Definitely, post-COVID times, this is mandated. This has to be there. This UV lamp and the filters, the dusty type of filters, definitely has to be safeguarded against the virus propagation. The UV lamps will become a mandatory part of the air conditioning system hereafter to come. Thank you, Professor. You have rightly touched upon the point as such. Thank you.
Mr. Sumit Sharma, please suggest, sir, how to calculate driven and drawn pulley ratio.
Sunilji, I will suggest you, if the slide is, the webinar is shared to you through Ishray, you just go through the case study, or if you want, you can mail me also. This case study will show what is the motor pulley and the motor RPM, what is the blower pulley and the blower RPM. Automatically, you can find out where we stand. And it has to be precisely be dimensioned to have the grip of the pulley. That is, the belt should grip the pulley by sides, not at the bottom. Once a belt is touching the pulley at the bottom means this is a loss. It's a visible loss. The belt has to run the pulley, grip the pulley and run the pulley, move the pulley, rotate the pulley by the sides only. So this is what is concentrated by optimizing the speed ratio. This optimizing the speed ratio is another critical parameter. This Mitsubishi, this Belt OEM has done in this LECS, and this is what in our energy study we have shared that case study. Thank you.
Mr. N. Prakash, what about multi-fan in AHU than a single fan? Will it be efficient from energy point of view?
Normally, any multi-fan AHU is selected because, as I was telling before, a motor efficiency band from 50 to 95% it is flat. Whereas the blower AHU, the efficiency is like an umbrella, inverted umbrella, the umbrella where it is narrow. So to achieve the superimposing the motor efficiency and the blower efficiency curve, people are going for the stepwise multiple AHUs to run the AHU whichever it is needed as depending on the demand required by the air conditioning purposes. Instead of going for a single AHU with a single system, multiple AHU will definitely come in the later stage. Initial cost is the barrier now. Thank you, Mr. Prakash. Thank you.
So, Mr. Taliravan Govindan, what about efficiency of flat belt compared to V belt?
Mr. Govindan sir, the flat belt efficiency compared to the V belt is definitely the best, but the maintenance of flat belt is more, and the wear and tear in a flat belt is more compared to a cogged belt. You have go for the in-between solution, bimedia solution now, go for a raw cogged belt, which is also with the same MOC, material of construction of a typical flat belt, engineering polymer only it is done, not a rubber belt, and this has a 30% more power carrying capacity, and a cogged belt has a double the life of the straight same V belt. So I will suggest, in my humble opinion, see again the opinions or the views may differ, but I am suggesting a implementable solution where it is easy to implement and immediately the result can be seen, and it is a low cost solution which gives the less than 2%. You can have the slip percentage of 1 to 1.5% only, sustainable for years. Thank you.
So I think no more questions, but a lot of participants have mentioned in the chat that they would want a copy of your presentation, sir. So if you are sharing, then you can send a copy to Mr. Sendil Raj. If not, I think if you don't feel like, you can just inform them, sir.
Definitely.
Let us take
I
a
will
decision
definitely
later
share.
on this.
It's a pleasure for me to share. Thank you. I will share with all the participants through ISHRE. Thank you, Sandil sir.
Yes, sir.
With permission, can I say a few words, President?
Sir,
Sir,
you're audible, you're less audible, sir. Raju, sir.
Yeah. Is it audible now?
Yeah,
Sir,
now it's better.
you are audible now. Thank
Good
you.
evening, Mr. Ashok, sir.
Yeah.
Very nice to hear your webinar. It is an excellent presentation. Lot of fundamentals I have refreshed. What I have basically understood in totality is you have taken the point on energy conservation, energy optimization for existing AHUs. 2-3 important points, which probably is a sort of summary. One is the impeller profile, aerofoil, and second is on the variable speed drive. These two are the very, very important aspects of your webinar. Of course, there are so many other aspects which you have covered. This was an excellent presentation and very, very active participation by all the participants. You must be really tired. I really wonder, at this age, you are so active and willing to share your knowledge, both to IIEMP, being a BE certified engineer, and to ISHRE. ISHRE, you have been helping ISHRE a lot. Thank you very much, sir, on behalf of ISHRE Coimbatore and on behalf of all the participants. And all the participants have raised very, very important and very valid questions. Thank you very much, sir, once again. We would like you are taking some class or a technical talk once the COVID situation is over and in physical meeting. Probably we would like to hear from you on various aspects on related to energy saving. Thank you very much once again, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh sir. Thank you, sir. Rajesh sir, I just want to have a small line of reply. You have correctly summarized and you have outlined the total the content of webinar. Excellently, you have told me. One is the impeller orientation, impeller design. The second is the VFD. And the third and the most neglected and the visible part is the belt and pulley, resizing and replacing the pulley and the belt with the scarved belts. This we found in many of the industries. We had around 20% of savings just achievable by this, which is not seen by many of the industry utilities. This is the third point which I want to highlight that, and we will definitely take in from all the air conditioning provider, either the providers or the users. We'll take all the three inputs, and even we will take it with EESL also. They are also ready to go for this type of inputs to improve overall energy security for the India through the national motor replacement or blower replacement side. Thank you, sir.
I
Thank
think
you.
now EESL will concentrate on the topic of fan efficiency.
Excellent.
Because they have initially started with the lighting. Now this is the time for them to concentrate on the fans, which will go a long way in energy optimization for all the industries for that matter. Thank you very much, sir. Once again.
Thank you, sir.
Nice to hear you.
Sir. Thank you, Rajesh, sir.
Thank you. Right. Bye.
Thank you, Santil Raj, sir, for giving this.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your
you.
wonderful presentation. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot,
sir.
and we want more topics from you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. It's a pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure to share the what all the knowledge we gained today.
The
Let us share it to
experience.
others. We are here only for that. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We will end the session, sir.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Ashok. Thank you, Senthil Raj. Thank you, Raju, sir. Thank you,
you, sir.
participants. I will now end the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.